Well, one of the things I mentioned, Shauna, is that it's sort of like Groundhog Day. You end up with a situation where you hear the same things a lot. I don't know which verse this is, but I think it's the fifth or sixth. And I don't think any of us really know. You know, we keep coming back and saying, well, it's going to happen next week, next month. And so I'm not certain anybody really knows that right now. So we'll just have to wait and see if it put off for another month or two.
Yeah, Ted, there's been lots of talk about whether or not the optimism from a potential trade deal is already priced into the markets. I spent a lot of time on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and I was talking to one of the traders earlier this week, and he was saying that, no, it's not. And this could actually be the next big catalyst to get the major indexes back to their all-time highs. What's your take on that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you would get a short-term move on it. I mean, naturally, some people think, hey, everything's going to be rosy now, but if you don't know the China talks are on right now and you haven't known for the last 3 or 4 months, you probably shouldn't be investing. So I think most people know it's there. They probably set themselves in place, and I don't see much buying based on that.
All right, Ted, I want to get your take on if we just take a step back and take a look at the macro picture right now. Obviously, the big thing that's front and center, trade is playing into this, is just a global economic slowdown. We've gotten mixed reports out, mixed economic data reports out over the last several weeks. This week alone, we got manufacturing numbers out of China, out of the U.S. If you look at those two reports, it actually looks pretty good. Do you think that maybe some of these global economic slowdown fears are a little bit overdone?
They could be, but you know, they've been slow for a long time, and so they're probably overdue a bottoming process in here where they don't necessarily, excuse me, start up, but they may, you know, they may not go down a lot more. I mean, they've come off a lot, and so I don't think you can just stay negative forever on them, because somewhere in here they make, you know, they make a turn.
So, Ted, where are you seeing opportunity in the markets right now with all this at play, with the global economic concerns that we have been discussing? Trade still is a huge issue. We haven't mentioned Brexit yet. What do you like in the markets?
Well, we're probably a little early for emerging markets, but we obviously like the income side. We like, you know, we like energy. We like the areas where we feel like, for example, like one of our biggest holdings is still the long Treasury, and we'll probably stay with that for some time. But I think you have to really be choosy in here about what you own, because I think that a lot of the sectors, consumer staples and a lot of things that are in industrials, that sort of thing, I think they'll be under pressure for the next 2 quarters. And so we're we're fairly conservative right now. We don't find many things on our list really that just jump out at us right now.
Yeah, Ted, just talking about, I know you said that you're long Treasury. Treasuries has been in focus. We had the inversion of the 3-month and the 10-year not too long ago, just about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. There's lots of concern out there just in terms of what this means about a potential recession on the horizon. Might not be too far off. Are you at all concerned about that?
Well, you could have. I mean, we own the Treasury no matter whether you just slow down or you have a recession, but it would not at all surprise me within the next 2 or 3 quarters to have, you know, a quarter that's negative. We're headed that direction and nobody sees it. But, you know, I've been on the street a long time and they never see it. It always comes after they thought everything was okay and the Fed shows up, everything's going to be all right. And then all of a sudden you have something where it breaks down on you a little bit.
All right, Ted Oakley, thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet, Shauna.